year of our Lord, 2017. We're in October right now, and the last few months, we've been blessed. Last month, Destiny 2 came out.
Yeah.
This month, Blade Runner comes out. Next month, in November, the Westworld Blu-ray set comes out. And the month after that, we have the new Star Wars movie coming out. We're spoiled for choice from now until the new year. And we want to talk about something that we saw tonight.
Alright, I'm just going to do this real quick. Sorry, fans at home. Continue with your diatribe.
Okay. We went to see Blade Runner tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And
What do all those have in common?
science fiction.
Science fiction.
We have things like Star Trek Discovery and The Orville. They're both great.
Yeah. It's like the greatest 2-month run of sci-fi fandom that probably has ever been.
Mhm.
Usually around Christmas time, it's kind of gets to be a comedy sap fest. It used to be Lord of the Rings. It used to be kind of a fantasy sort of whimsical thing, and that's disappeared. Now it's just hard-edged sci-fi.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, we just got back from Blade Runner,
Mm-hmm.
and
And I was nervous about this movie because I'm a huge fan of the first movie. I love Blade Runner. It, I think, might be, it's easily top 5 science fiction of all time, I think.
I think so, especially when you consider that it comes from a short story or a work of literature. And generally there's so much that they ignore that it's almost nothing recognizable from what the source material was. And to be fair, Blade Runner does take some deviations, the original Blade Runner.
Yeah.
But it makes it a better movie because of it.
Yeah. The classic argument of some things make for better movies and better books.
Yeah, and I'm always in favor of giving films a chance, despite, the book was better, or had more depth, or, stuff had to be cut. But this is one of the first instances I can recall of a sequel to a film made from a book that had nothing to do with...
And the book didn't have a sequel, I think.
As far as I know, no. So anyhow, this is a discussion about the movie plus a lot of concepts. So I don't want to be the spoilerific guy, but turn back if you don't want anything ruined. But we don't give a hoot, really. Let's just get right into it. Al, run down the plot.
Oh, jeez. The plot is actually kind of straightforward for this movie. Basically, what happens? Ryan Gosling is a cop. He's a Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And he knows he's a Blade Runner. He knows he's a replicant.
Yeah.
And
they're kind of exiled. They're
a little. But what happens is he knows. It's such a weird movie. It's actually very straightforward. He actually stumbles across something during an investigation.
Yeah, he runs across a replicant.
Yeah.
That Bautista, and he finds out that he has connections to something that's a little bit more nebulous,
and I'll say it's really cool and weird at the same time.
It's out there. That's for certain.
It's really out there. Like he looks back on his latest case, and there are some things that don't add up. So he goes back to the crime scene basically, and he does a little digging around, and he starts getting this idea that something really strange has happened out there in the wilds of
San Diego.
San Diego or something like that. And it comes to a head where supposedly, and from the first movie, Deckard and Rachel have had a child.
Yeah,
They found Rachel's bones out in the desert.
In a crate that Bautista was guarding.
Yeah.
And the technical impossibility of it.
And Bautista also says, when he confronts Ryan Gosling, K, let's call him K. It's a life or death struggle, and I don't want to call his name Bautista, but Bautista says, you know what's wrong with you younger generations of replicants is you've never witnessed a miracle.
Yeah, or no, Ryan Gosling says something like, older generations, they always run. And he says, well, we run because we've seen some things.
Yeah.
And we've been through some stuff that the younger generations don't even know about.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen a miracle. And, Bautista puts up one hell of a fight.
And he should have won that, but, these new models, they're something else.
Yeah, they're pretty resilient. Jeez, Gosling takes a beating in this K. Gotta start calling him K. I'm still gonna call him Bautista. But, no, so it starts this whole chase, both through his own mind and his memories.
And I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around it. That, jeez. And, the real kicker about all this is this theory that a robot had a baby is completely true.
Yeah, there's no twist. It happened.
It happened. And
they allude to the fact that Tyrell, before the Tyrell Corporation went under, which was like the big organization in the first movie, he put in his last Nexus generation had the ability to create life or procreate.
They can't figure out how to replicate it.
No.
Like, we have a new company that bought out all the assets of Tyrell Corp.
Yeah, the Wallace Corp.
The Wallace Corp.
And that's who's chasing down Kay and trying to find the secret to how do robots make babies.
Yeah, because he wants to. Was it Jared Leto was playing that role? He was the head of this company that bought out everything, and he said something to the effect of that the great things in human history were always accomplished at the expense of a group of people, and I can't make robots fast enough, so I need baby robots.
I need them to be able to do the work that we're struggling to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like the hunger factories are just not pumping them out fast enough. So let's put control into their hands, sort of thing. And
so it all kind of comes to a head where eventually Kay runs into Deckard.
Yeah.
And they're kind of standoffish with each other.
Well,
everyone's guarding a secret in this movie.
Yeah, Deckard's whole thing is just to be away from everybody.
Yeah.
Except him and his boozing dog. But they have a standoffish moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it culminates with, Kay's trying to ask Deckard about Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
What were the circumstances of all this thing? And he's actually as in the dark as Kay is in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And, the old generation meets the new, and both of them got caught and brought to the Wallace Corp to try to see if they can squeeze that orange of knowledge and juice it.
The orange of knowledge?
Yeah, I gotta get that.
It's
the info juice.
No. It was another movie I think you and I saw. The salmon of knowledge.
The salmon of knowledge.
From the Wicker Man.
Mm-hmm. But it culminates in one of those things where all the perceived memories of replicants were really kind of a.
That's so messed up.
Well, it's like gingerbread crumbs because
I think every one of those, what's going on right now in this movie is there's two groups. The one group is the corporation that wants to learn the secret of android babies so they can make more money, and the other group is basically older replicant models.
Yeah, that escaped the clutches of I guess the all-seeing eye of technology.
Yeah, and they want to be free, and they're going to start a revolution, and I believe them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the backdrop, basically.
That's the backdrop.
Classic android story.
And Kay doesn't necessarily want to have a revolution. I'm not sure he's bought into it. But the one thing that he is sure of is he wants to understand these implanted memories he's had.
And
are they true? And then it's funny because
oh god, they are true,
but they're true for way more people than
every one of these
the newer model replicants.
they share the same memory. And I thought I solved the movie.
I had it solved.
Obviously, K is Deckard's son. Nope, he just has that memory implanted, so he believes it, you know.
And as soon as that question was proposed, I was like, well, the only other possible solution is that the one implanting the memories is Deckard's child, which it was.
Like, I think the movie is very good.
Yeah.
It's I went into this movie very worried because I liked the first movie so much that I thought, how can it go anywhere but down?
Yeah.
You know, you look at, let's say you're Ryan Gosling, and all of a sudden someone shows up and says, do you want to be in a Blade Runner movie with Harrison Ford? I think every actor would say yes.
Yeah.
You know.
You'd be hard pressed to find a guy turn that down if you ever kind of grew up in that era. And, you know, Ryan Gosling's about our age.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, he probably had Blade Runner tinging his thought of what sci-fi was for a long time, and what a better way to become a part of that than actually being a part of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
there are some parts you don't turn down.
yeah.
So I was very worried that it just would flop. And another probably bigger worry was that you look at Harrison Ford's last movie,
Yeah, Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens, where a lot of people said, you know, it's basically just the first, it's basically A New Hope retold. And I was like, well, you know, what if Blade Runner becomes that? You know, that is exactly the first thing.
It's just a retelling with a new kind of veneer over
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And
But this goes, I think it goes way beyond it.
it goes way beyond it, and it tries some things, and it's the one thing that I was worried about, and I'm glad didn't happen. Is this is a standalone movie? You don't need to see the first Blade Runner to appreciate this, and you don't need to see the sequel to appreciate the original Blade Runner. They both kind of exist distinctly.
Yeah.
And for certain, this one is a larger movie and a lot more visuals and style to it. But I'm glad it maintained the batting average.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's kind of a best case scenario in my mind. Is it maintained a quality level both in story and look and style, and it pulled it off. I was happy with this story. I was happy with a lot of the aspects of it. But is there a way to make it faster? And you know,
It's not an excessively long movie.
no.
It's what, two and a half hours maybe?
Yeah, about 2.5. Everyone says, oh, it's almost 3, but you know, we got into our showing at like 8 o'clock. We had 15 minutes of trailers, and we were out by quarter to 10, quarter to 11,
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
But
So
the worst thing was the seating.
I don't know. I didn't have a problem.
I did because I want people to be comfortable. I was sitting next to our dad. He went to see it with us. And the seats, I'm a big guy. Like, I look bigger right now on camera.
You look
because
huge.
I look huge on an angle. This guy is bigger than me in real life. But you look tiny in this camera. And, okay, in the movie, this whole 2.5 hours, I was like clenched like this. And by the end of it, I was just focusing on like, okay, now I'm gonna lean like this and lean like that and feet like this and.
See, that's where I found my movie theater seat position. Is you got to cross your shins over and tuck them under the seat, and then you just melt. And you Captain Kirk one armrest, like you know you're sitting next to somebody.
Yeah.
Let them have that.
I had
you
no
take that.
I had no armrests. So
it was an exercise in balance.
So when you get like Ryan Gosling on screen looking at a book, just And that's the scene. And there's so many scenes like that in this movie that it's so slow.
Yeah, they did a lot of staring.
Yeah.
You know, it's a French art house film. Like, that's the director's style. And you get what you pay for. He pulled it off, but you have to take that element of it as well. There wasn't so much staring and whatnot in the original Blade Runner. But also, there's moments where I thought about that line from Futurama where Harold Zoid was directing humans in his picture. He's like, "Would I kill you to wave your arms around a little?
Somebody emote."
Yeah, somebody emote. Somebody do something. A lot of still moments, but very pretty scenery. But the acting, you know, you made mention of Harrison Ford. You know, his last outing may not have been his best. I think he tried in this one. I think he did a good job in this film. Better than I expected, because all he had to be was old Harrison Ford, and he gets a pass.
And
I'm not saying it was spectacular.
no,
He gave it a good shot.
What I want to talk about a bit is the theory that Deckard in the first movie was a replicant, and I don't know if this movie solves it. Was Deckard a man, or
I don't.
What do you think?
Well, what was it? Wallace postulates the theory of why did you and Rachel hit it off so quickly? Was it did it ever cross your mind that you might have been designed that way? And you know, he's just kind of it's all conjecture. He's thinking about possibilities. He has no idea. He can't understand that. But maybe somebody like Deckard was Tyrell's kind of swan song. He saw the writing on the wall. You have to start getting these reproductive replicants out.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more. Maybe there's not. Maybe it's just one of those happenstance things where, you know, I think every man has the dream of nailing a robot.
Not me.
Oh.
Never me. That's actually the one thing that's kind of weird. If Deckard was just a man, he knocked up a robot. Okay, so that removes a certain fantasy that all of us, all of the fans of our channel have is sex bots.
Yeah.
With no
repercussions.
No repercussions. No, be careful. It might be 1 in a billion. You can still knock that robot up.
Yeah.
You have to go into hiding because of it.
You might have to go sleep in the ruins of old Las Vegas.
If this happens to me, I'd be like, okay, I knocked her up. I saw the birth. I think I'll live the rest of my life out in Afghanistan.
I'll find myself a swank little convenience store and just call it a home.
That's too bad. That's a shame.
Well, yeah.
They took everything good.
They took everything good. The trope of the sex bot, which is a hell of a name for an autobiography.
The trope of the sex bots.
But it all kind of culminates in the message that they put across was, it doesn't matter what you are, it's what you do. And in the end, it doesn't matter if Deckard's a replicant or a human.
Yes.
And for Ryan Gosling, it didn't matter if he was a replicant or a human. He knew he was a replicant, but he believed in things that were a little bit bigger than you expected a replicant to believe in.
It's so weird.
It's weird. It's definitely, I think it's one of those films that's going to take another couple viewings to really...
Yeah, we have a multi-watch film here. The visuals are good. The acting is done really well. Good fight scenes.
Just a damn fine science fiction.
Yeah.
You know, science fiction picture.
It gives you a question to think about. That's so weird in my mind that it has to be, considered.
It has to be. I mean, that's what good sci-fi does. And
like robots having babies.
You know,
you have to think about that now.
it makes you think about the concept of androids and pretty much any other style of fiction that has kind of come across your desk.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a bit before we probably gather enough ammunition to have our talk about androids.
I want that.
You know that
I'm
that's something that we've
ready.
always been wanting to do, is take concepts and use movies to either prove or disprove each other's kind of thought processes. But the idea of dissecting androids across science fiction, it suddenly gets a new twist when you look at this movie.
Yeah.
So
It's a lot to take in.
it's a lot to take in. And
Go see it. If you're a fan of sci-fi, if you like Ryan Gosling or Harrison Ford, you're not going to leave disappointed. If you like good visuals,
Yeah, great style. I think even if you're a fan of the original,
yeah,
this isn't going to ruin your perception. And if you're not a fan of the originals, this one is probably a better turn.
mm-hmm.
I think it's one of the few films I can think of that I would say yes, it's a definite recommend to go see it before too long, because
Before this video gets uploaded 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from now, October 31st.
Yeah, it's already out of theaters.
It's already gone. They're already taking pre-orders for the Blu-rays and stuff. But no, do yourself a favor and get some good sci-fi into you. It was exactly the dose we needed after such a break.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope you guys are enjoying the Halloween festivities and getting ready for that magical day. But we will join you as quickly as we can.
Yeah.